Sri Dāmodara Jananī by Shivaram Swami, Appendix 1, Part 1. Theme verses to chapters 1 through 12. Sri Dāmodara Jananī is based on the Acharya's commentary to the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.1 through 10.11.8. The following appendix gives the Bhagavatam Sanskrit verses and their English translations as they correspond to the 12 chapters of this book. Chapter 1. Setting the scene. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.1 through 3. Shri Shuka Vacha Ekada Griha Dashishu Yashoda Nanda Gehini Karmantara Niyuktasu Nirmamanta Swayam Dadhi. Shukadev Goswami continued, One day, when Mother Yashoda saw the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, she personally began to churn the yogurt. Yani yani ha gitani tadbala charitani cha dhadi nirmantane kale smarantitani agyata. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about those activities. Shaumam vasa pratukati tate brihati Shomam vasa pratukati tate brihati sutra nadhadam putra snehasnuta kucha yugam jata kampa cha surubhu rajva karsha shrama bhuja chak Kalat Kankanau Kundalecha Svinam Vaktram Kabhara Vigalan Malati Nirman Mantaha. Dressed in a saffron yellow sari, with a belt tied about her full hips, Mother Yashoda pulled the churning rope, laboring considerably, her bangles and earrings moving and vibrating, and her whole body shaking. Because of her intense love for her child, her breasts were wet with milk. Her face, with its very beautiful eyebrows, was wet with perspiration, and malati flowers were falling from her hair. 10.9.3. Chapter 2. Mother Yashoda attends to her duties. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.4-5. Tam stanaya kamasadya mantantim jananim hari grihitva dhari mantanam nasyadit pritim avahan. While Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breasts, appeared before her. In order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning. 10.9.4. Tam andakam arudam apayastanam snehasnutam sasmritam ikshati mukham atriptam ushistya javena savyavav utsichchamane payasi tvadishrite. Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowing him to sit down on her lap, and began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of the intense affection, the milk was flowing from her breasts. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. Although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast. 10.9.5. Chapter 3. Krishna breaks the churning pot. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.6. Shanjata kopa spurhita runadaram sandasya dhadbir dhadimanta bhajanam bitva mrishishu drishat asmanaroho jagasaharangavam anantaram gata. Being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. He then entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place. 10.9.6. Chapter 4. Yashoda finds and catches Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.7 through 10. Utarya gopi shushritam payapuna pravishya sandarshya chaddadi matrakam bhagam vilokasva sutasya karmataj jahasatam chapina tatra pashyati. Mother Yashoda, after taking down the hot milk from the oven, returned to the churning pot, and when she saw that the new container of yogurt was broken, and that Krishna was not present, she concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of Krishna. Oluka kalangrir uparivyastitham markaya kamam dadatam shichistitam hayangavam charya vishankite kshanam niriksha pashat sutam agamachanai. Krishna at that time was sitting on the upside-down wooden mortar for grinding spices and was distributing milk preparations such as yogurt and butter to the monkeys as he liked. Because of having stolen, he was looking around with great anxieties, expecting that he might be chastised by his mother. Mother Yashoda, upon seeing him, very cautiously approached from behind. 10.9.8. Tam attayasthim prasamiksha satvaras tato varuhya pasarasara bittavat gopi anvadavam nayam apayoginam shamam pravishtum tapasheritam manaha. When Lord Sri Krishna saw his mother, stick in hand, he very quickly got down from the top of the mortar and began to flee, as if very much afraid. Although yogis try to capture him as Paramatma by meditation, desiring to enter into the effulgence of the Lord with great austerities and penances, they fail to reach him. But Mother Yashoda, thinking that the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, to be her son, began following Krishna to catch him. 10.9.9. Avanchamana Jananī brihach chalat Srinoti bharakranta gati sumadhyama Javena vishramsita kesha bandana Chuta prasunagnu gati paramishat. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breasts, naturally began to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet she did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. 10.9.10. Chapter 5. Yashoda chastises her son. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.11 through 12. Kritagasam tam parudantam akshini kasantam anjan masini svapanina udvikshamanam bhaya vifalekshanam haste grihitva bishashyanti avagurat. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes. And as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. 10.9.11. Tyakva yastim sutum bhitam vigyayarka bhaka Vasala Yesha kilatam bhadum dhamnathad viryako vida. Mother Yashoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. 10.9.12. Chapter 6. The Attempt to Bind Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.13 to 16. Na chantar na bahiryasya na purvam na pichaparam purva param bahischantar jagato yoga jagatchaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no rear. In other words, he is all-pervading. Because he is not under the influence of the element of time, for him there is no difference between past, present, and future. he exists in his own transcendental form at all times. Being absolute, beyond relativity, he is free from distinctions between cause and effect, although he is the cause and effect of everything. 10.9.13. Tamatvatmajam avyaktam martyalingam adokshajam gopikolu kale dhamna babhanda prakritam yata. That unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses has now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with a rope. Tadhama bandamanasya svarbharkasya kritagasaha dving angulam adbhutena sandande nachagopika. When Mother Yashoda was trying to bind the offending child, she saw that the binding rope was too short by a distance of the width of 2 fingers. Thus she brought another rope to join it. Yadasittadapi nyunam tenanyad api sandade tadapi dvingangulam nyunam yad adhata bandhanam. This new rope was also short by a measurement of 2 fingers, and when another rope was joined with it, it was still 2 fingers too short. As many ropes as she joined, all of them failed. Their shortness could not be overcome. 10.9.16.